Welcome back to another video. Recently, I've been getting a lot of questions on how I edit my photos. So this whole video is going to be dedicated to how I edit my photos. And we're going to go through a variety of environments, scenarios, different lighting. We're going to go through, hopefully you guys learned something new. If you do, then I would really appreciate a like and subscribe. All right, so I have a selection of a few photos here. I'm not sure if I'm going to go through all of them. Now this image was bad, I'm not going to lie. I wanted to get more of this zoomed in look with all of these type R's lined up, and so that was pretty hard. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to come in here and crop it to get all of these cars in the frame. So that's looking already a lot better without all of this negative space here that we don't need. I'm going to go ahead and start with the basic tone curve. I'm going to lift the shadows a little bit, drop the blacks, and then lift those whites up. Before and after, you can already see how much better that looks. To get some of the blues in, because I kind of like that, but you can't go wrong with either. Let's increase the exposure just a touch, and just like that, bring some of that contrast in. Highlights to bring the sky out. Increase the shadows just a little bit. Blacks, kind of like where that's at. We could put a linear gradient here and drop the highlights even more. Maybe increase the saturation, bring some of that sky out, bring some of those whites, drop the exposure, whites. All right, let's give it a little bit of vibrance, just a little bit. And I'm pretty happy with that image. All right, guys, so here we have another image we're going to be editing. A beautiful M2 at a gas station. So first thing I see we need to do is go ahead, crop this image, center this. I like how the car is almost in the center of the frame. We're using the rule of thirds, but it's in a lower portion. But we also get the Sphinx and the roof of the gas station with the gas pump in it. See what happens if we drop it by like one stop, like that. We lift our shadows, put a little bit of contrast, maybe increase our highlights or whites. I really like playing with the highlights and the whites because it really pops the image and it brings out more contrast without actually increasing the overall brightness as like exposure wise. And a little bit of texture, clarity. Make it pop just a little bit more with that extra sharpness. Let's see if we can adjust our tone curve. I kind of want to crush the shadows, bring up the highlights just a tad bit. See, so this is where we started. And this is where we're at right now. In my opinion, this isn't a bad finish point, but I would go the extra route and come down here to these color wheels. And then you can actually really get into it, give it some more character. So here already, you can see a big difference. Giving it a little bit of a blue shadow, especially at night car photos, makes it really moody. And I like going for like a moody shot. It's really easy to overdo it here, so you kind of have to take a look, step back, see where you can make some fine adjustments without going too crazy. So here we have another image. This is a F82 BMW, and we are shooting hanging out of a window at 1/30th shutter speed, FF 1.7. These are good settings for rollers. You slow your shutter speed down, and then you just take a bunch of photos to kind of get this motion blur effect. I think we're gonna have to do a lot of masking here. Yeah, let's lift some of our shadows just a little bit. Increase our highlights. I'm gonna go ahead and mask the subject off a little bit. In here, we're gonna go ahead, click select subject. Okay, I did a pretty good job. So we're gonna go ahead and come here and increase the whites. Maybe drop our saturation down just a little bit. There's a lot of greenery here. We don't want the car to be green. So we're gonna drop the saturation, try to keep it white. And then we're gonna have to make another mask for the headlights to keep those DRLs. Hit O to see where your mask selection is. And we're just going to erase around the headlights. And then just see kind of how that looks. So there we go. We have retained some of the detail. Let's add a little bit of clarity, texture. This kind of adds a little bit more touch to the motion blur. Could go ahead and drop in a linear gradient. Decrease the exposure there. Maybe increase the temperature just slightly. A little dark. I kind of want to increase the exposure just a little bit. A little bit like that. Okay, we might need to adjust our mask here. Maybe decrease the whites, highlights, add a little bit of contrast. We could maybe adjust the tree just a little bit, make it look a little bit more golden hour-esque. Let's see if we can add a brush right here to darken the windshield. And that is what I'm happy with. I think I'm going to stop there before I go a little too crazy. All right, so here we have another shot in the darkness. We're going to have to be very precise with what we do here. We're going to have to lift the shadows, but keep that contrasty look without overdoing it. And it's very easy to do that on these types of images. So we're going to go ahead, leave the exposure where it's at because I like it. We perfectly exposed it for these DRLs here. Probably gonna have to mask these cars separately and edit them separately. But I really like the exposure of the overall image. Increase the shadows right there. Come in here with a brush, masking off this black BMW. I'm not gonna select the windshield because I like how it's exposed there. Increase shadows, contrast. All right, now let's do the same thing for that white BMW. Select our brush. Really want to increase these whites, kind of make the car pop a little bit more, but we can't overdo it because it's going to make it look unnatural with the rest of the image. All right, now we can zoom out a little bit, see kind of how that looks. Okay, so let's see. There. Looks pretty good. We could add a linear gradient. All right, I'm gonna make a few more adjustments because I don't really like the colors. I'm gonna mess with the color just a little bit more. All right, so here is our final image. So first things first is what we did is we increased the contrast, did a little tone curve adjustment, fixed this little grass area down here at the bottom, masking here in the sky. This was our final sky, bringing out as much detail as we can. Unfortunately, though, we did lose some detail here up in the highlights, so we couldn't really recover that. Masked our subject off, did a few more minor adjustments, like increasing the shadows, adding a little bit more contrast, increasing the whites, some more adjustments here and there. And this was our final image. So I really do thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you did enjoy or learn something new, help me out by hitting subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care and goodbye.